How's it going, Fit Fam? Hope that you're doing well. I wanted to make this little video for you. I guess it's not going to be a little video, but I wanted to make this video to show you how I schedule my calendar, how I plan things out and schedule for the things that are going to go on in my day. Because it gets a little difficult to have a routine, especially because everybody's home and everybody's been kind of in this crazy limbo of not knowing what to do and having all these new responsibilities or finding out things that you can be doing with all this spare time you have. And if you're still working, or still got stuff going on, no worries. This applies the exact same way. So don't feel like you're missing out in any way. This can be applied to pretty much everything. So I'm gonna go ahead, share my screen right here. There we go. You should be looking at my Google Calendar setup. So right here, this is a blank slate Google Calendar. This is what I use for all of my scheduling needs and stuff like that, whether it's just things to do, appointments. The reason that I like using Google Calendar is because it allows you to sync it to your Gmail. And that way, if you have any appointments that get set up through email, any flights, literally anything that gets scheduled, it automatically appears in your Google Calendar. So it's really easy to use. So that's the main reason that I use this over anything else. And it's also really user friendly. So I got a handful of things that I want to cover today. A lot of these I learned from someone named Thomas Frank. He's on YouTube. You can check out his videos. Super helpful with productivity. But I just want to go over this quick calendar setup that I do. So I start off every single day the same way with my morning routine. But for everybody, it's different. So the first thing that I do before I get anything set up is I try to think of my ideal perfect day. What would my day look like if I got to do the things that I wanted and got all of my work done? Now, that doesn't mean you schedule for your most productive day, because if you tend to fill your entire calendar with all these tasks and things to do, you won't fall in line with it. And then you end up having this full calendar to the brim, no breaks, all work, and then you get none of it done. And then you feel discouraged and you don't want to do it anymore. And the whole purpose of this is to motivate you to get stuff done. And that way you don't have to think about it. If you take away the thinking aspect of this, then you get one step further to what you want to do. So the first thing I do is I just choose what time I want to wake up. Let's say I want to wake up at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, right there. That's a good time. Then I simply just add morning routine. I can't spell, so excuse me. But I add that, and I always have it as an event. If you have it as a task, it's going to be really small and it's not going to be as effective. So I always have it as an event, so it takes up a block of my time. And I usually schedule this for an hour. And under that, I usually just write a description, because this is going to be a consistent theme every single day. I want to wake up at the same time. If you wake up at the same time, you actually start your day off stronger. So we want to make sure it's consistent. And I usually just have 3 things. So I clean my room. I get ready. So, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, taking a shower, anything that you do in the morning typically, right here, would just getting ready. And then for me, I've been working on doing it 30 minutes of meditation or 10 minutes of meditation, working up on it. But this could be literally anything else. Like, this is more of just like a free task. If you have something you do which could be calming, which is like make coffee, then that works too. But the whole goal is that for this morning period, it's not about being the most productive or getting stuff done. It's about having about 3 things that center you. I know if I make my room, I get ready, and then I do my meditation or make my coffee, that I feel way better for the rest of the day. So that's just a block in the morning, an hour, and that hour goes by probably the fastest out of all of these. Now for me, I already know that I'm going to be working from about 9 o'clock to 4 p.m. So I just schedule that time right here, and I label it as work. So right here, that's going to be about a big chunk out of my weekday. So let's drag it down all the way to here. But there's a little trick that I use, because it's going to be all in blue, and you can go ahead and just left click it, click this edit button, and you can always change the color that you want, but that's not effective. It doesn't make it simple. It makes it a lot more complicated to change it every time. So what I like to do is I go down to this side right here where it says other calendars. You have your tasks. It'll always say your name, birthdays, reminders, tasks. These are always going to be there. I don't believe you can delete these ones. Yeah. So I like to eliminate tasks, reminders, birthdays right off the bat, because you can always unclick whatever is on the screen as long as it's labeled the same thing. So if I don't want to look at stuff that's under Daniel Valencia, I unclick it and I want to focus on everything else. But to keep it a little bit more organized, you can go to other calendars, click the plus button, press create new calendar, and then you could label it whatever you want. So say I'm going to have one that's called work. I'm going to just create the calendar. And then as soon as you do it, it'll give you a little calendar creation, say that it was successful. You're going to go back, and then it's going to be right here under your calendars. Now, the good thing about this is that whenever you edit what you did, or if you have it labeled, you go here and you just switch the calendar. So you're going to come right here where there's this little calendar thing, click work. It's going to switch the color, and then you can always change the calendar color, but usually what it's set up as is fine. And so it's under purple right here. And I know between my morning routine and my work, I like to get something done. So I like to read. That's me. It could be filled with anything. This is your perfect day. So focus on yourself here. So I like to read. And I usually make a separate calendar for that too. So before I even make this, we'll discard the changes. I'll make a calendar, and I will call it reading. Yeah, we'll just have it labeled reading for now. So have that save, all good and great, set through. So now we have reading. It's this little salmon color one. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you can call it whatever you want once you title it. Like it's already gonna be known as the color it's gonna be reading, but I still like to do like read, whatever book I'm on right now. I'm on More with Less. There we go. So I have it for about an hour before I do my job or I go to work. So right here, simple things. Just I wake up, get some 3 things done. Then I take an hour for myself to just kind of make sure that I'm going into the day level-headed. That could be anything you want. If you like doing yard work, you have an hour to do yard work. You know, if you know you're going to work for this amount of time, or if you don't have anything going on, you can schedule other activities, but have them throughout the day. And that's why if I know that I'm going to have a busy day that I'm not, prepared for, and I just want to go through and be like, okay, what can I eliminate? How much time is taking up a lot more space? I can be like, okay, I don't need to read today because I got other stuff to do. So I just take that off, and all of a sudden, I can see this block going away. And so then after I work, I typically come home and I just have some time for myself. I just put it as decompress. So that can be anything you want. I just do it to, relax, eat something, make sure that I'm not keeping myself too busy, that this is just time for me to relax, kick the shoes off, get, into whatever groove that you want, and to make sure you're fine. And I keep that under the Daniel Valencia one, because this is more of a personal thing. So I keep that under the same thing. And so let's work backwards here. Let's say I'm trying to be in bed by 10 o'clock. I know it seems way harder to get in bed by 10 o'clock, especially with having almost no rules or regulations right now. But I like to set something about 2 hours before, and this is my night routine. And of course, this is just me. I have a night routine and a morning routine, and I just try and keep that because I feel like it gets me started in the day, and then it makes me like wax off the day and I feel good. So I usually have that, and I'm gonna keep it under the same tab as Daniel because it's more of a personal thing. I'm gonna light all these up. And then right here, you can just fill it with whatever you want. Let's say for these hours, I'm gonna work on a side project I have. Let's just put that as a hypothetical. So right here, I'm gonna go to create a calendar. I'm gonna create it called side projects. There you go. Go ahead, make sure that it's all good and great, set up to go back. All right, and then just for this time, I'm gonna work on my side projects. And then right here, so when you click it, you click here, go down, side projects. All right, and we'll just say I'm working on knitting. We'll do something interesting here. I'm working on knitting for about 3 hours there. But you can choose, again, whatever you want, whatever you want to do. And as soon as you're done with that, planning out your perfect day, you can either copy and paste or have it repeat. Let's say I want to repeat my routine every single day. So I'm going to go to options right here. So I'm going to click on it, go to options. You can either duplicate it. All that's going to do is it's going to bring you here. It's going to make another routine, but that's going to get a little bit complicated because then you're going to have another one. And then if you schedule it more for the future, then it's going to get complicated. So I would recommend going right here to this pen, this edit event, and you're going to go up to this part where it says, you know, when you want it, what the date and time, and you're just going to go to repeat where it says do not repeat, and you can choose any day. So I want it to be, I wake up at this time on the weekdays, make sure that my weekdays are done right and that I'm feeling good. Go ahead, click save. And then now for this week, it's going to have them done. But since I don't have a foreseeable future where this is going to change, it's going to be for every single week right here. So this is kind of how, if you saw in the nutrition call that I plan out my months, that's kind of how I do it. A lot of the time, the super fine details aren't always there because I don't know what the future is, but I just know what I want to get done. And then if you ever feel like, okay, like things are going to change and stuff like that, like things are going to be different, and you know that like from now on, you're going to be either wake up sooner, you're going to wake up later, instead of having to create a whole new tab or anything, you can drag it wherever you want. Say that you need to wake up at 5:30. It's going to ask you right here, edit reoccurring events or this following events or all events. If you just do this event, it's going to switch to just that one. And then it's going to fall in line. If you want to do, I want to wake up later, 8 o'clock, this and the following events, then it'll do that event that you clicked and then all of the ones after it for all the ones that were made the same way, the ones that are repeating. So that's a really nice tool to use. That way you're not stressing too much on having to create these and duplicate. It makes it really simple. And that is pretty much it. If you want to add tasks, you can just click on the area, you know, it's going to always give you that. But if you click right here in the margins, it'll open up another space and you can just add a task. Let's say during this time, I want to make 5 phone calls. I can go ahead and do that. It's set for 11 a.m. You can always make it any time of the day, add a description, add subtasks, but you save that there and it's going to pop up. And let's say, I just want to move that task later in the day. All of a sudden at 12:15 instead of 11, then I'm going to do that. And you could add that for anything, you know, knitting, decompressing, if there's something you want to do. And of course, if there's ever something that gets in the way, let's say on Friday, I'm just going to move this over here. Friday, make this simple. Friday, when I'm supposed to decompress, I have to go run some errands or run some chores. You can just either click on this and edit the entire post instead of decompress, you know, go get food. And then, you know, you can change it like that. Or you can just make a whole new one. Either way works. And, you know, editing it, you know, cutting apart. I just like to edit it straight from there. It makes it a lot more simple. And the same thing applies. Even the task, if you unclick tasks, you can just see it as clear view. If you're saying, hey, I don't want to do side projects right now, I feel like I'm busy, you just get rid of it, fill that time with something else that you love, but plan out your perfect day, you know, schedule it how you want. And I really recommend using the different calendars because it does make a really big difference if you want to just see how much time you have for just working. Let's say that you're working on a project for work and you have everything scheduled out, but you don't have the time to do it because your schedule is just filled. Well, you know, just take off the side projects and then fill the space with the work you got to do. And that way you don't have to delete anything, but you know how much available time you actually have if you're changing it for something else. And that's pretty much it. That's how I run down my Google Calendar. If you have any questions, anything, feel more than free to send me a message, talk to me. I'd love to help you out. This is a lot of fun with me, a lot of fun for me to organize this all together. But yeah, I hope you have a great day and take care.